Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Heart of the Storm here at the MLG Studios. Heart of the Storm Exhibitions. We're currently doing a King of the Hill. Crank is at 6 games in a row, but want to do a quick word about that last little promo you just saw. Full Sail University. If you are interested in game design, if you're interested in graphic designs or anything like that, maybe trying to get into the game industry.
Audio engineering?
Audio engineering. Anything
3D
involved.
animation?
Yep.
Okay.
Lots of options, and even more than that, you can even find out more at www.fullsail.edu/MLG. So, doesn't make you do anything crazy. It just gives you more information about what potential opportunities are there. Speaking of opportunities, here at MLG, every graphic you see on your screen today has been made by a Full Sail graduate who's currently full-time employed here at MLG. We also have a couple interns from Full Sail University, so great opportunity to get involved in not only the gaming industry, but potentially the esports industry. Again, the website you visit is www.fullsail.edu/MLG. That being said, coming up next year, we got Crank, still working on his streak here. He is at 6 in a row, and I'm going to put him against Protoss.
That's good.
Because I think that might maybe throw a wrench in this game.
The one thing you can say about Crank, certainly for Wings of Liberty, and it's seeming like it might be the way for Heart of the Storm as well, is that this guy is a Zerg destroyer. Like, he crushes bugs every morning. Like, in his past life, he was a Terminator or something.
Yeah.
Because, like, he just solders them. He's a PvZ specialist in Wings of Liberty, and we saw against Ghosties here, his army was unstoppable. And yesterday, he played a couple of Zergs, beat both of them. I think if you want to beat him, it's got to be Terran or Protoss.
We'll see if that can happen. I mean, Crank, he did have a little bit of injury issues in the past year, so maybe one way to beat him is just have him keep playing and hoping. Like, that's a terrible way to put it, but I mean, how do you beat this guy? He's a
wear
machine.
him down.
Wear him down.
Numbers.
Yeah, like you talk about Pro League, like they will stay in the game. Because they're thinking about who comes up next, right? If they're out of the game, they will stay in the game for as long as possible just to wear their opponent out. Maybe there's going to be a sense of players having to kind of work together here if they're about to lose, trying to just prolong the game so he's a little bit tired coming into the next game because Crank, he's on a roll, and I don't know what's going to stop him, but we're going to find out because we're going to have Shew play him. Of course, Shew, we've seen him recently.
Yeah.
He's played in some free-for-alls.
Monday. And the free-for-alls, yeah. He played King of the Hill Monday, played a couple of free-for-alls.
Yep.
He's a very good Protoss player. The one thing, he gets carried away with Tempest in free-for-all. I think...
Is that a bad thing?
Well, it was. Remember the one time where he was like way ahead, and he had like 16 Tempests, and then you all died to like 20 Stalkers.
That's true. And we were surprised. We're like, Tempests are going to win this.
So the Tempests actually can't beat up units in a fight. They're just for picking your opponent. But I think Shew thought we were playing Mono Battles free-for-all. I know it worked out pretty well for him for a while because
That's
the
a
Tempests,
great idea.
they're so good at picking at people.
Yeah.
You just shoot, run away. But you gotta have something to retreat to if they keep chasing you. Cannons, Colossi, Storm, Stalkers, whatever your backup army is.
You gotta have supplementation. You gotta have that base unit that protects the Tempest, so the Tempest can do their job, which is stay away from the main army and pick from behind.
You know, I used to play a lot of PvP with Shew, and I can tell you he's very, very good at like a very standard game. If you do something that throws him off a bit, though, that's where you can catch him off guard. So, Crank, I know I've seen Crank has all his little secret build decks to pull out. He's got a lot of cool stuff he does. And I think the question is can Shew figure out what Crank's doing and find a way to not get too flustered by it? You know, find a way to return to its like basic core game routes.
Also, Shew did choose the map, so he might have a strategy specifically in mind for this map. Blink Stalkers can be very good, but again, the Blink... Ooh, sent out 2 probes. I thought we were about to see something crazy, but Blink has been... The cooldown has been... not the cooldown. The time to research has been extended, so that's important to consider. But let's introduce players. In the middle left-hand location, we have the blue Protoss player, Shew, is currently the challenger, going up against the defending King of the Hill. The red Protoss player, Crank, is currently on a 6-game winning streak. Let's see what these players have in store for us. PvP and Tinga Shipyard. I mean, the ramp is one force field wide. There's one map in the pool that is not the case. Shared base.
Core Hole City. Indeed. And that makes PvP pretty funny on that map. Just because force field is the main counter to Forgate, right? They try to kill you force field, they can't get up.
Yeah.
When all of a sudden it costs twice as many force fields, that's not sustainable, right? Protoss, like agriculture, has got to be sustainable. You got to keep repeating it. And so you got to be able to have, to make that permanent force field thing, it's got to be a singly wide ramp. Unless, of course, you're like late game when you have like 15 sentries or something. But usually you're not going to have 15 sentries before you hits. If you do, you're playing someone like 3 leagues below you.
Yes. And if you're on my base, that's just crazy. I mean, you have to get like 2 gas before gateway or something like that.
You get a 6 gas and a 6 gas.
Work, yeah.
You don't even build a probe at the start.
Or maybe you build your 3rd gas at the natural and long distance mine.
Yes.
Yeah.
I might do it.
I don't expect to see that many sentries in this game.
Unlikely.
The last PvP I remember
They do start with hallucination.
Oh, that's true.
So, I haven't actually seen it used. I've only seen it used once or twice, really, so far. Like, just using the
as far
sentry
as
to scout.
Oh, okay.
Or even, like...
in PvP?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's like people either get Robo or
important.
Stargate anyway, right?
The energy is so important in the early game.
But I think where we could see it is, I think, the build that Rain loves a lot, I've been using a lot, it's a Wings of Liberty build where it's a 1-gate expansion.
Zealot, Sentry.
Yeah, you get like Zealot and 4 or 5 sentries.
Yeah.
That would be a great use. You can use one, if you're not being 4-gated, right, which you can tell by the fact that you're not being attacked, you just make a Phoenix, you scout, and you can know whether or not you can go Stargate Robo if you need detection, if you don't, etc. Know how many probes to get. That's where it's really useful. And that build seems like it could be really good in Heart of the Storm because you have the Mothership Core as well. Help you out the Photon Overcharge in case they're putting pressure on. Why don't people always do that?
Well, I think Stargate play would kind of be scary.
It depends how fast. If you scout it early
and
you get a Forge.
Oh,
maybe.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how that plays out. Because like if they save up to 3 Phoenixes or something, go straight for your Mothership Core, that dies, and they start picking off probes. Sentries aren't. They're your only anti-air, first of all, and then they're not very mobile, so you're having to worry about defending 2 mineral lines.
You'd have to give up one for a little while.
Yeah. And you don't want to like spread out your units too much because then sentries will start getting picked off. Because they're fine together, like 5 together. But
I mean, people do play that build against Phoenix and Wings of Liberty, and they play it fine. And Heart of the Swarm, I mean, Phoenix is a little better, but then you also the Mothership Core is still an advantage for that Photon Overcharge.
Yep.
Yeah, it'd be cool. But let's see. So it looks like Shew picked this map, and his plan in mind is going to be, it looks like Blink.
Yeah, I think both are. Not surprised at all to see this. Of course, DTs are a little bit cheaper, so it's still, it's still possible one of these players could go for those DTs. But look at this. Crank is actually going to be extending across the map here with 5 Stalkers. He's got a probe here, and he has a Mothership Core. So he's going to start harassing the top here.
Shew's got to back up in his force field.
He's got a force field at the last second. Mothership Core trying to do some damage, and now, oh my gosh. Shew is in trouble. 5 Stalkers could potentially do a lot of damage here. Targeting
another sentry.
Oh, nice.
Oh, he's trying to get the Mothership Core.
I'm actually a little bit...
Oh,
wow, he got it.
And he gets the probe. There's no high ground vision. Another force field. He gets it off.
This is good for Shew.
And
he needs another sentry, though.
I don't even know if he does. He has 3 warp gates. I think he'll be fine.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I like what Crank did there, warping on the low ground, not the high ground. Because he already knew that the high ground units were going to die, right? So when he warped into that was great.
Alright, so it's going to be 4 Stalkers versus 4. Crank Stalkers are a little bit more meaty at this point in time. But here comes the Mothership Core from Shew, gonna be the difference in this fight. And now Crank is going to be backing up. But the difference here is Blink is about halfway done for him. Look at the probe count. 27 to 25 in favor of Crank. So Crank, Tech, okay, Shew has a Robo. Crank does not, adding on 2 additional gateways.
Well, he doesn't need the Robo because he's seen what Shew's doing.
Yeah, I'm just talking about tech advantages.
Yes, yeah. So as the game goes on.
Yeah.
Who lost more units in that battle? Let's check the units lost in column. So Crank lost a little more. Of course, that's counting the Pylon. So I think that works slightly in Crank's advantage. All things being said, because he has perfect information. The one thing though is I feel like Shew could have controlled his end a little better. Like I feel Crank out micro there. The Zealot ran forward and died without getting a single attack off. One of the sentries is picked off from the low ground. There's a couple little things there that Shew could have done a little bit better. Overall, though, a very solid defense. And now Shew's got the expansion advantage. and Crank trying to catch up on that robo attack.
But can Shew deal with this incoming
Well,
attack here?
He's gonna have 1 photon overcharge, maybe 2 if it goes on long enough. If he scouts, if he knows,
he knows about it with the observer.
okay, so we can chrono boost out an immortal, right? Should have, he doesn't have the money. He feels like maybe he's committed to constantly warping stalkers.
Yeah, it's a tricky decision.
Oh,
to make.
he's gonna snipe the mothership core.
That would be huge. Mothership core gonna be marked away perfectly, and that Nexus might have to be canceled. But no, Shew's a little bit indecisive here.
He's waiting for Blink. Shew's waiting for Blink.
Even so, though, I think that's so many stalkers here from Crank.
Who has more?
I think 11 and 9. Yeah, 11 and 9.
Very, very close. So, and the mothership core is there. If you put that photon overcharge on in just a second. There it goes.
Going to be placed down. Both these players have Blink. Shew can micro those stalkers away. And wow, that Nexus is doing a good amount of damage to those stalkers.
13 range is a lot.
Yeah.
That's a siege.
Does he have energy for a second? No, he doesn't.
He's got to keep his mothership core alive until it does get the energy.
I wonder if it's worth blinking forward just to kill the mothership core.
I mean, you might lose all your stalkers. Oh, Shew goes for it. Oh, that's right. I was thinking.
Yeah, because you lose.
He loses vision, so he can't shoot back. I was thinking if he could shoot back, you'd lose a couple stalkers, and they could blink micro, and you couldn't. But wow, Shew is. You and Shew are both smart fellows. you guys figured out this game. Great concave by Crank though. She's got to back up.
He's definitely gonna.
I think Crank's figured out though. He can't break this.
No, I mean now he doesn't have high ground vision, so has an observer coming. And actually, that's gonna be seen by that might have been seen by Shew's observer. He's not reacting to it though. But he has to know the potential of that. Oh, he's just gonna blink down.
He's got no blink cooldown though, and Crank does.
Oh, there's no mothership overcharge. Or there's no. There we go.
There it is. But Shew lost a couple units there.
That offensive
and now there's an observer, and those 2 units could come back to haunt him if Crank blinks on the high ground. Is he gonna do it?
He is.
He does.
He's gonna target on the cyber.
Oh, that means no more stalkers.
No energy for a photon overcharge, so there's no use doing that. No ability to do that on this Nexus.
The good side is now that Shew can't make stalkers, he's gonna be chrono boosting that immortal, right?
In theory.
In theory. In theory, he'd be chrono boosting the immortal.
Right.
It's always a tough choice though, because it takes a while to build. Oh no.
60 out of 60. So he's gonna.
Man. I think Shew just might be overrun here as soon as this photon overcharge goes away on the natural Nexus.
Yeah.
In fact, Crank's not even gonna wait for that. Maybe he's being hasty, maybe not. He gets the mothership core, overwhelming number of stalkers, and an amazing concave by Crank.
Yeah,
here.
photon overcharge is out, and Shew is forced to move growth at this point in time. Crank just has way too many stalkers here, has been warping in nothing but stalkers. It's like the 4-minute mark of this game, or the 60th mark. And he has national expansion behind this, so his economy is just fine. And there's the GG from Mr. Shew. HoTS wasn't enough to take him out.
No, it was close though.
It was.
There were some neck and neck moments there. Some great moves by Shew sniping the mothership core, but Crank's control was just a little better in every engagement. His concaves were amazing every time they fought. Crank showing why the Koreans are so good at StarCraft 2, just the meticulousness of detail.
It was kind of Wings of Liberty-ish. I mean, the early 2 game with the Stalkers, he had 5 Stalkers pushing up, but the thing that helped that so much, obviously, was the mothership core. But Shew was able to snipe that pretty darn quickly, but that push alone would kill 90% of people, I think. It almost killed Shew, in fact. So if you're looking for builds to try out in Heart of the Swarm, I think that's a great one. That might be one displayed in a Rules of Engagement in the future.
It might
Perhaps
be.
a NOS performance tip. We'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, Crank with a really cool build, really cool build there, starting out with the 5 Stalkers in the Mothership Core, and then following it up with the Blink upgrade, Twilight Council, 2 additional gateways, eventually adding on the Robo and the expansion, but just keeping the pressure on his opponent. And on Antigua Shipyard, that's so important. Blink Stalkers can be so good on that map, especially when microed properly. And we saw Crank blink up there, snipe the Cyber Core, and that can really do. That's a pretty big setback for your opponent. So, great game there from Crank. He's going to extend his streak to 7. And who's going to take him out? I'm not sure. Again, if you're a pro player and you want to play, join channel MLG. And we'll try to get you involved. But yeah, coming up next, we're going to see if Crank can keep continuing with this ridiculous winning streak here in Heart of the Swarm, King of the Hill, brought to you by MLG. I'm axeltoss and axslav. We'll be back in just a second. Don't go anywhere.